Good morning and welcome in, recovery friend. Today we're going to be going over the 24 hours a day recovery devotional. So it's February 23rd. Let's get right into it. Besides our jobs, our families, our friends, and our sobriety, we have something else that many of us found through AA. That's faith in a power greater than ourselves, to which we can turn for help. Faith in that divine principle in the universe, which we call God, and which is on our side as long as we do the right thing. There have been many days in the past, if we had taken an inventory, we'd have found ourselves very much in the red without sobriety, and therefore without jobs, families, friends, or faith in God. We now have these things because we're sober. Do I make one resolution every day of my life to stay sober? Now here's the meditation part. Love the busy life. It is a joy-filled life. Take your fill of joy in the spring. Live outdoors whenever possible. Sun and air are nature's great healing forces. That inward joy changes poisoned blood into a pure, healthy, life-giving flow. But never forget that the real healing of the spirit comes from within, from the close, loving contact of your spirit with God's spirit. Keep in close communion with God's Spirit day by day. And here's the prayer. I pray that I may learn to live an abundant life. Pray that I may learn to live an abundant life. I pray that I may enjoy a close contact with God day by day and be glad. All right, y'all. So I read this one already one time this morning. And with sobriety, yeah. I have a job, I have family, I have friends, I have sobriety, and I have God in my life to go to every single day. When I know that some people wrestle with the idea of God or a connection with God or which God. I know that a lot of people wrestle with those, but I was the type of person that I just always believed in God ever since I was a kid. Never stopped believing God. At a moment there, I thought God, before I got clean and sober, I thought God forgot about me. I was like, God just let me fall through the cracks. God had just forgotten about me. I know God's there. I just know that He's just not. He's not in it for me. Because I saw God working in other people's lives. I remember my grandparents' lives was really stable. They had a real even keel. They were churchgoers, prayed, all of that, and they were real even keeled people. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I see God working in their life. But my life and my family's life was up and down and emotional outbursts and parents getting in fights all the time and me getting upset and wanting to escape and all of that. And I was always up and down. So I was like, all right, well, God is there, but God's not working with me. Turns out that I had a lot to learn about God, and recovery was a good place to start. I remember, I think it was Bill Wilson said that Alcoholics Anonymous is spiritual kindergarten. Let's just say the recovery is a spiritual kindergarten, and I know that some of you will shriek because there are some people that come into recovery and they're clergy or Bible scholars or anything like that. There are things like that. But recovery taught me humility, that I don't know as much as I think I know, and that to sit back and listen from people that have gone before me, and then listen to the literature, and then after listening to it, put it into practice. That's where I started noticing, oh wow, okay, so there are things that I need to do that I'm not doing. Taking inventory of myself. I didn't really understand that concept. To look at where I was fearful, look at where I was prideful, look at where I was inconsiderate, look at where I was dishonest, look at where I was look at myself to see where I'm being grandiose, look at myself to see where I'm having bad attitudes, look at myself to see where I'm holding on to bad character traits, because they're look at those things, because they're keeping me from getting sober, staying sober, and then they're also keeping me from having a happy, joyous, and free life. Now the meditation is a little bit metaphorical. However, the idea of a busy life, at first in early recovery, I needed a busy life. I needed to be doing stuff daily, one day at a time. I needed to be really focusing on work, going to school. Every lunch I remember I would read recovery material at lunchtime and all my breaks, to keep my mind occupied with recovery material and the Bible as well. And now, fast forward 20 years in recovery, I try to take moments where I do take breaks, and I try to clear my mind, and that's why it also says live outdoors whenever possible. The sun and the air are nature's great healing forces. I tell people to do that all the time. In my line of work, I always suggest people to go out into nature. I do my best. I used to go on hikes and stuff, and try to get out in nature. My nature right now is just getting out into walks and getting around my neighborhood. It's not a tremendous amount of nature, but I do have some trees. I have been doing meditation where I was looking at the vegetation and looking at the trees recently. Yeah, so thank you for helping me stay clean and sober. I pray and for your sobriety. Let's stay sober together. See you guys later. Bye.